Hey guys, Greg Lawrenson here. Coming back at it for season 3 of Survivor Time and Change. Still majoring in security and intelligence. My placement in season 2, Survivor Time and Change, are honor defend, an unfortunate 7th place.
How does it feel to do as well as I did? Well, obviously once season 2 airs, people will see I had the opportunity to go farther,
At the very least till 6, and probably a little farther past that if I played my cards right, but it didn't happen. So that's just one of the things that I have to live with now. Even though it was a disappointing end, it was still exciting to get all the way to 7. I felt like I made some really great relationships, really put myself in a good position to win the game if I should get to the end. And
when I think about my time on season 2, what runs through my mind the most, aside from not playing the advantage because I could have extended my time on season 2, is just the relationships that I made with people. I made it gave me a community to be a part of. So even though I didn't win, it was still a win in my book. I'm content with what happened. But for season 3, I'm obviously very, very excited to get back into it, especially because I feel like I still have a lot to prove, a lot to gain from the organization, and a lot to give back. For season 3, I ideally would like to play at the same kind of strategies because that's what I'm most comfortable with. Last season I came in,
I wanted to find one person that I could rely on 100% and then build around that. And ultimately I decided to go with Allison as my 100% I trust you, I'm never going to lie to you. And then to branch off that, I had a very close number 2 in Mitch. I was somebody that a lot of people wanted to work with and wanted to trust, at least in some capacity. Mitch trusted me, Nick trusted me, Allison trusted me, Autumn trusted me, Ryan trusted me. Throughout the game, especially pre-merge, I really set myself up to make it far past the merge. And then obviously, Allison and I go find an idol, I get the advantage, and so we had the pieces there. We just didn't quite manage it well enough and got beat to the punch a little bit. But overall, my strategy, I think, worked out pretty well. It might not have worked out as well as I'd hoped in terms of getting me to the end, but I think I executed that plan pretty well.
And so with season 3, it should play out about the same, at least in terms of my strategy going in. If I do better than what I did last season, then it's icing on the cake because, I'm getting a second chance. So right there, that's already a bonus.
But then if I can get to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then obviously I was able to learn from my mistakes and play back-to-back what I think would be really good games. That would be very exciting.
I can't really say that
I'm expecting much. I'm just expecting to go out and have fun, compete in a couple challenges, hopefully make some friends. And if I can make it past 7, then, added bonus because I played a better game than what I did in season 2. I don't know anybody else playing. I was told not to tell anybody. If anybody else was playing, I assume they were told not to tell anybody. If there are other returning players, then that's good. I think it gives us a common ground to align on and trust each other on, because if we are returning players, we're going to have targets on all of our backs. Say there is 4 of us, all 4 of us are going to be targets right away. And so we can use that as a connection, at least early on, and then you branch from that, make your own connections within the game. But
it would give the 4 of us, or, X amount of us, a sense of security, knowing, okay, at least there's one other person that is returning and is in the same boat as me. Do I think I have an advantage
or a disadvantage because I've played? I think you can look at it as both. I have the advantage of knowing what to expect. However, it can be a disadvantage because I know that right away it's announced, okay, he's a returning player. That puts a target on my back. So if we lose the first challenge, who's to say I'm not the first one to go home? Because it's easy for a group of people that aren't returning players to be like, oh, he had his chance. That's where I would need to rely on, my strengths of making relationships, maintaining relationships and connections, and hopefully my social game will help me, carry me through the first few votes. And then if I can get enough time in season 3, hopefully it kind of takes away the banner of, oh, he's a returning player, and instead I'm just Greg, alliance member, enemy, whatever it is.
And then lastly, do I think I can win as a returnee? That's tough. I think if I can get past the first 3 weeks of the game, then I'll be set up pretty well.
I'll have enough time to make my own connections in the game. Hopefully people will trust me as a player. Hopefully people will view me as an asset and not a liability or not as a target right away. And then at that point, it's just, unfinished business with what I did last season. I thought I had myself set up pretty well where I had, lots of connections, lots of people on my side rooting for me, wanting to work with me. And so if I can get that going again,
then at that point, it's just playing the game the way I know how to as best I can, and hopefully I can
capitalize on some opportunities, and who knows, maybe I will be the 3rd sole survivor in Ohio State Time and Change history.